We're gonna do lying. We're gonna do lying right now. All right, sure.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
All right,
This song
let's do
is,
it. Let's do it, dude. Let's do it.
It's about
Oh my
sex.
God.
It's her favorite, so.
Oh, it's your favorite.
Oh, here you go. All right.
Did he play Smoke on the Water?
Still me that makes you sweat. Am I who you think about in bed when the lights are dim? Your
Why the hell does he have his nose smushed up against the pop filter? That, like, what?
hands are shaking as you're sliding off your dress. Think of what you did. How I hope to God he was worth it. Lights are dim. Your heart is racing as your fingers touch your wit. Better kiss.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he's a good singer. You know, I mean, I hear him sing and, like, I mean, he's got a lot of things going right. At least in this lower range. It kind of goes off the rails once he, you know, moves up in the voice. But yeah, in this range, he's doing everything pretty well. He's got the common, like, singer-songwriter, guitarist problem when he's sitting down to where he's, like, leaned forward too much. And he's kind of bent his back as a result. His singing posture's a little compromised. Like, the problem is it's hard not to look like a dweeb, you know, when you have proper posture when you're sitting. What you really should do is sit up on the edge of your chair and, like, you know, Dr. Hobbins, my voice teacher, always used to call it standing from the waist up. And you have to hold your guitar kind of, like, nerdy, you know, like, you know, it's going to be, like, you know, up a little bit. And, you know, you're not going to look cool and hit, you know, like your typical guitarist does. But yeah, posture's not great holding the guitar. You want the shoulders aligned with the neck. You know, the singing mechanism goes from the, you know, the area of the abdominals, lungs, up to the trachea, into the vocal folds, like into the voice box, larynx, pharynx, all that kind of stuff. And he makes nose squish look good. Okay. And so you really want the only curve to be here in the entire mechanism. Kind of, you want to go like this. You don't want there to be like bend after bend after. But one thing I always tell students is, like, imagine if you're like watering a garden with a water hose and a watering hose, garden hose, or whatever. And somebody came behind you and plugged, like, closed up the water by putting a crimp in it. That's effectively what you're doing when you bend. And of course, you can still make sound like this, but you are closing in the lungs and you're limiting the efficiency of the flow of air through the vocal mechanism. It's all about, you know, efficiency and the coordination. So if you have your, you know, everything bent, you know, it's not as efficient. So let's keep going.
The touch of better any boy you'll ever meet, sweetie. You had me, girl. I was it. Look past the sweat. Better love, deserving of exchanging body heat in the passenger seat. Oh,
like, he's got this, like, weird, funky, turkey sounding vibratos. Like, I don't know where that comes from. But I wonder if it's something that he, like, manufactured. It's just not a natural vibrato sound.
no, you know it will always just be me. Let's get these teen hearts beating faster. So testosterone boys and Harlem.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah. This is a good moment. See this? That is neck tension. That is extrinsic muscle engagement. Yeah, that's an example of like extremely strong amounts of subglottic pressure, air pressure from underneath the vocal mechanism. All these types of things are tension problems that you have to ultimately rid yourself of. You don't need it. The idea is that if your body can coordinate the sound at all, you don't have to. You can do it without overly engaging muscles. The vocal mechanism is not like lifting weights. It's more like ballet or acrobatics than it is weightlifting.
And Harlequin girls, will you dance to this beat and hold?
See, like, even when he's singing in this range and he did that little melisma, when he did that little thing,
Harlequin girls, will you dance to this beat?
right there, like, you know, there's a little bit of tension here, but it's not anywhere near as much, and he's singing in the same range. So it just shows that he doesn't need all that push and all that extra engagement to be able to make the sound. So, yeah, I'm sure he's had, like, vocal coaches and instructors, but they've taught him, whoever he's worked with have taught him to push when he just doesn't need to. That was a really good vowel modification and a really good embouchure for the all. Right there, I know that's probably a meme face too, but, you know. The idea here, though, is he did some really interesting things. Like, if you listen to, he went the word all, he went hall. He created an aspirate onset so that it's called a vocal initiator, to where he set so what he did is he set up aspirate onset, got the airflow going, and closed the folds over the air so that he had stable breath pressure. He had stable subglottic pressure, and then he rounded the lips on the all, and kind of used an aw sound instead of ah. That's a very common vowel modification to use in an upper range for men. That's a sign of some sophistication. Like, he does enough things in his singing to where I know that he's had some pretty decent training, because you don't do that on accident. Like, that's a choice to help you manage that range better. But see, like, then there's that like jello jaw thing that's just unnecessary. That little thing right there, it's very common in Broadway. People do that. You don't need to do that. That literally is just like, it's just moving things for no reason. I mean, I hear the arguments all the time of, oh, well, they're being expressive. That's not being expressive. That's some technique that he developed or somebody taught him to do to try to make this sound that he doesn't need. There's a difference between being expressive and doing physical things with the body and the mechanism to manipulate the sound. There's a difference. Testosterone boys and all the queen girls. Yeah, that little. That's a falsetto. That's head voice falsetto. Clearly a timbral register shift, because you can hear, this normal singing sound is very speech-like in its quality, and then it flips up to that light, airy quality. That's clearly a falsetto. Testosterone boys and yeah, that's head voice. The reason I moved that the jaw is not because intuitively feels like you want to move the jaw to emphasize the pitch change. Well, you don't have to. I don't know what the notes are, but you don't have to move your jaw at all to change pitches. That exercise we do, but, I don't know if I can sing right now in my voice like this, but that exercise I do with all my students, that's so that you can emphasize pitch changes without having to manipulate all this stuff. That's part of the purpose of that exercise. The queen girls, will you dance to this beat and hold the lover close? See, he did the same thing, with the ah vowel rounding the lips. Again, he's doing the same technique. This is trained stuff. Most of what he's doing has been trained. Oh, so I guess we're back to us. Yeah. Like, I guess that's just style, like all that stuff. But again, it's just tension. It's not necessary. Cameraman, swing the focus. He's got a lot of forehead tension here. You can see this whole thing happening. When you start seeing that above the eyebrows push down, a lot of forehead tension. In case I lost my train of thought, where was it that we last left off? Oh. And see, he can't argue that he's doing this for the sake of the audience, which a lot of people say, is apologists will say, because he's behind a microphone. You can barely even see his face. He's not doing this so the audience can see him. He's doing it because he's engaging too much. Now I do recall. See, here we go back into this low range. All the tension's gone. His face is completely clear. His neck isn't engaged. None of that stuff. So he manages his low modal register great. We're just getting to the part where the shock sets in and the stomach acid finds a new way to make you get sick. I hope you didn't expect to get all of the attention. Little bit of a glottal onset on all of the attention. Not too bad, but let's not get selfish. Let me meme him for you. Do you really think I'd let you kill this chorus? So that kind of sound that he was creating is a lowered larynx sound. When you lower the larynx, it makes this sort of thing happen. So he's temporarily lowering the larynx to create that effect. Let's get these teen hearts beating faster. So testosterone boys and Harlequin girls, will you dance to this beat and hold the lover close? Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, it's like a copy paste of the last chorus. He's singing it exactly the same way. So he's nothing if not super consistent. Like, he's really consistent. So, I got to give that to him. He's managing all this extremely consistently, extremely well. So whatever techniques he's developed that are unsavory are things that will, he's going to do them consistently, which means that I'd rather a singer be really consistent, that we can make adjustments on the bad things, than people that are just all over the place. So, because at least we can kind of take where they're at and work with it. So, if I were working with him, I would definitely make some adjustments to some things that he does. But, overall, not too bad. Testosterone boys and Harlequin girls, will you... Girls, that's jaw tension, well, tongue tension. Tongue tension and jaw tension are the same thing. So, Harlequin girl, whenever you hear that kind of stuff, probably sound like a seal or something, but that is the sound that's created when the tongue tightens up and pushes itself down against the bottom of the mouth. And a lot of people don't realize this, but the tongue is a huge muscle. It goes from the tip of it down to the top of the larynx. So when you and you tighten the tongue, you're actually tightening the top of the larynx too. He's got his jaw protruded at the bottom here. That's that creates jaw and tongue tension too.
Dance to this beat.
Yeah, a lot of facial tension.
Dance to this beat. Dance to this beat.
Yeah, his embouchures on the I vowel weren't very good. You don't have to go you don't have to do that on an I vowel. It's unnecessary. I is created with a smaller lip shape. I. You have a more neutral lip shape. You don't go I. You don't have to do that kind of thing. Yeah, his E vowels are way too wide. That's very typical of pop singers. Like, it's just completely normal. Da, 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 you don't have to do like that for da, da. And I'm not singing in his octave, of course, but da, da. You don't have to widen the mouth out to make that kind of pitch. Yeah.
Let's get these teen hearts beating faster, faster. Let's get these teen hearts beating faster. Got more wit, better kiss, hotter touch up, better any boy you'll ever meet, sweetie, you had me. Girl, I was
This man is inappropriate. This man is inappropriate. It is shameful. What about the children?
Past the sweat, better love, deserving of exchanging body heat in the passenger seat. Oh no, no, you know it will always just be me.
Yeah, me. Hey, he's singing in my range. Low larynx. He's dropping his larynx to be able to sing the lower pitches. Now, and for me, being a bass baritone, if I'm moving down into this like really low stuff, I don't lower my larynx. I just keep it speech-like because for a bass baritone, if you lower your larynx for the really low stuff, it actually makes things worse. But I imagine since he's kind of like a low tenor type voice, it probably helps him quite a bit to lower the larynx.
So testosterone boys and Harlequin girls, will you dance to this beat and hold the lover close?
I agree. Well, this was 11 years ago. This video was 11 years ago. So, but I do agree. This is, it's catchy. It's a well-written song, but it's certainly not lyrically appropriate in my opinion. Not for the target demographic. I mean, if it was for adults, it's fine. But since it's the target demographic, I don't think it's appropriate.
Harlequin girls, will you dance to this beat and hold? So testosterone boys and
Okay, so now we're hearing some of his pitches sag flat a little bit. He's really throwing a lot into this performance, and he's wearing his voice out.
so testosterone boys and
Yeah, if you listen to the word "and," it was flat.
boys and
And he wants and he sings and he's actually like marginally flat there.
testosterone boys and
He's wearing himself out. He's having trouble maintaining pitch acuity. That's the whole like false fold sound that people talk about.
Harlequin girls. So testosterone boys and
Yeah, there it is again. And he's flat again.
Harlequin girls.
It's not bad, but it's definitely more inconsistent than it was at the beginning. But he's wearing himself out. I mean, he's singing so aggressively. I don't see how somebody could sing a whole 2-hour concert like this.
Hold the lover close.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. I mean, he's a good singer. Like I meme him a lot. Mostly to pick on Ellie because she has an eternal crush on him. But he's a good singer. Like for a pop singer. For someone who sings in this style, in this genre, he has a lot of those idioms that are like generally not healthy, not good, that just are in the style no matter what you do. But to be honest, it's not as bad as a lot of the people. Like if I compare him to someone like Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy, like he has a much better grasp and handle on the mechanism in terms of ways to sing sustainably than most people do. So I would say that he's a good singer. Yeah, the showmanship is important too, but I don't, I also come from opera, and in opera we call it park and bark, where you stay still and you don't be a showman and you just sing because the voice is what's making the music. I understand that element of things too. I'm a purist, but it's more spectacle than it is like singing at that point. I'm not here to rag on anybody. I do this to my own students, I do this to myself, I do this to everybody. It's not about artistry to me. I'm not an artist. I'm a technician. I say that to all my students. I do not consider myself to be an artist. I do not consider myself to be a singer. I can sing. I have the ability to sing well, but I'm not a Brandon URIE. I'm not going to get up there and emote. I'm a technician. I approach analyzing singing from a very technical perspective. Because it is a technique. As much as it is an art form, it is a technique. My technical analysis is based upon objective physiological traits of the body. So, I'm not coming up with this stuff from some like subjective, like, ooh, I think this sounds good or bad thing. I'm talking about the way that the mechanism is functioning and the effect it has on the body in the long term. Anyway, Brandon URIE, good singer, good singer.